For a few years in the 1970s, the Mr. Asia syndicate made millions.
Heroin creates its own market. It acts like a form of plague.
Until jealousy, betrayal and murder brought it all crashing down.
Clark would have threatened him. Go and kill him. If you don't, I'm going to kill you and your wife and your son.
This is Mr. Asia, A Forgotten History. Listen to episode 4 now on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcast.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Rugby League, because the 2025 NRL season is nearly upon us. In fact, 24 hours away or just under. For the second time, we have a double header in Las Vegas to get us started this NRL season. And this time, it features the Warriors up against the Raiders, 1 o'clock tomorrow, New Zealand time. Just hundreds of fans have descended on Las Vegas for this doubleheader. The second game is four-time defending champion Penrith Panthers against the Cronulla Sharks. Let's get you to Vegas and bring in hugely experienced and highly respected Rugby League writer Phil Rothfield, who you can read in the Daily Telegraph, among other publications in Australia. Phil, thanks for joining us from Vegas. Are you a fan, first of all, of opening the season in Las Vegas like this?
Oh, look, thanks for having me. I'm a massive, massive fan. I think it's more than just about trying to get a footprint into the United States, the world's biggest sporting market. This is just a spectacular season launch for the NRL when there's no other codes playing, or, look, there's a bit of rugby union on at the moment. But the momentum, the adrenaline we get from an event like this, I think, was very much responsible for the surge we got in NRL interest last year with record TV ratings off the back of what we saw here. Now, anyone at the Fan Fest last night down in Old Fremont Street, I've covered 2 Super Bowls. I've never seen so much fan engagement and excitement in the streets, in Vegas or anywhere else. I've been to New Orleans, Arizona. Never seen anything like it. It is a wonderful, wonderful promotion of rugby league, and it's never going to take over America, this great game. But I think there's a small space there to, garner some more interest.
Well, it sounds like it's working over there. Plenty of NRL jerseys around, Phil. Are you seeing? You're at a fan event last night, so presumably there were.
Oh, everyone's wearing a jersey. I'm about the only one who's not. I wish I had my Cronulla Sharks jersey, but it's and there's a lot of NRL merchandise on sale here as well. The official merchandise, and wherever you go. And look, I was going to make a point of this in my column next week, in that there's a couple of clubs who've been very reluctant to commit to come here, and Shane Richardson at the West Tigers said as much last week in the Daily Telegraph. Well, you know what I think about Shane Richardson? I think he is robbing his fans of a dream-time trip, once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I think every NRL club owes it to their supporters to come across here in the next 5 years. You're Warriors fans. You should see how happy they are.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and the Warrington and Wigan fans, they are MAD. They're all behaving themselves, but they're singing at the top of their voices in the restaurants, the bars, the cafes, and everyone's just having this massive party here. And you know what? I think, whatever the television ratings are in America on Saturday, that they're going to be better than last year because it's on Fox main channel, free-to-air, not cable, free-to-air Fox main channel. Last year, back in Australia and New Zealand, we got record television ratings. They're confident they're going to grow. And the new rugby league people are watching it. The AFL fans back in Australia have nothing on. So it's a bit like Origin. You get those once-a-year fans will come in and look at the game, and the rugby league could pick up new customers from it.
Well, let's talk a bit of rugby league because Penrith, the 4-time defending champions, are one of the 4 teams up there. They take on the Sharks, as I say, your Sharks, in the second game. When you've won it 4 times in a row, Phil, are you automatically favourites to make it 5?
Oh, look, I'm not sure they're favourites to win the comp because, again, they've lost some championship players, haven't they? You know, Jerome Luai's gone and, you know, he's just a wonderful, wonderful player. And, you know, they've lost Crichton the year before. They lost Kickow the year before that and Matt Burton, etc. But they've got this wonderful nursery of talent. We saw that while their first team was in Las Vegas, just arrived, their reserve grade players, New South Wales Cup players, put 38 points on the Manly Seagulls in the trial game. That will give you an idea of the depth they had. They've got Jack Cole playing on the weekend, you know, for Jerome Luai. He's a handy player. Look, I think Melbourne, they are entitled to be favourites because they haven't lost a player. They've signed Utoi Kamanu from the West Tigers. And, so I think the Melbourne entitled to be, but Penrith are going to be desperately hard to beat again.
Yeah, and the Storm and the Panthers, they're the 2 teams you automatically gravitate to, and I think rightly so. Phil, do you feel as though it's those 2 and then quite a gap back to the chasing pack?
Yeah, look, I think the Cronulla Sharks are next in line, and only because of the X factor that Adam Fanua-Blake, and all your listeners know what he's done in recent years, probably the premier front row in the game. And Nico Hines, was struggled a little bit last year, but with the momentum that Fanua-Blake will drive, midfield dominance, I think Nico's game will open up. His partnership with Braden Trindle's a good one. Outside of Storm and Penrith, the Sharks are the most consistent side in the comp. They seem to make the finals or top 4 every year. So, look, they're a hope. And I think they might even beat Penrith on Saturday here, Sunday your time. Only reason being, I think the Panthers are a bit underdone. They've got a few boys, Edwards, Cleary, recovering from off-season surgery. Isaiah Yeo hasn't played in the trials. Liam Martin had a little bit of time. So it's probably a good week to be getting the Panthers before they sort of settle in and get warmed up for the season.
We've seen plenty of Warriors fans. What do you predict for the Warriors as a rugby league team this year?
I think it's going to be a difficult year. You know, you've lost Sean Johnson and you've lost Fanua-Blake, and look, I know you've picked up Fisher Harris, and look, I think I'm not expecting them to make the top 8, but that's just my opinion. You know, and it's very hard to sort of make a prediction like that, but I've just got other teams ahead of them. You know, Andrew Webster's a good coach. He won Dally M Coach of the year before last, so he knows what he's doing there. He's got a very good staff around him. Look, they need a bounce of the ball, in my view, a little bit of luck with injuries, if they're going to make the 8. But there's nothing between them and Canberra. It's really an even money bet here on Sunday. 2 sides that I guess are expected to finish, a bit lower down the ladder. But you never know. There's always a surprise package, isn't there, in the NRL, and the team will come from nowhere, and these 2 sides are capable of that.
You talked about James Fisher-Harris briefly there. Obviously, Adam Fanua-Blake going out, James Fisher-Harris coming in. Is that a sum gain for you, Phil, or do you still see Adam as the number 1 prop in the game?
Look, at this stage of his career, I think he probably is. But look, I don't want to discredit James Fisher-Harris in any way, shape or form. And look, let's just say the 2 of them are in the top 3 or 4 front rowers in rugby league, with guys like Tino and Payne Haas up at the Brisbane Broncos. And so, look, they basically cancel each other out, don't they?
Indeed. And just to finish, you mentioned some surprise packets, and you're right, they always pop up and surprise us. Any, I don't know if dark horse is the right word to use, Phil, but anyone you think might surprise us as a team in 25?
Yeah, look, the team I fancy is going to climb the ladder sharply is the Gold Coast Titans. And I like their middle forwards. They've got Fotuka Manu, the Queensland State of Origin. Mo Fotuwaka, the Queensland State of Origin front rower. They've got Regan Campbell-Gillard. They've got Tino back. They've got Fafita on an edge. I think they got the quickest back five in the competition, with Keno at the back and Jojo Fafita and these sort of players. They've got speed to burn. And, look, Des Hasler knows all about the having teams, in finals football. And I think they'll climb the ladder for sure.
Phil, great to get the chance to chat to you on the eve of a new season. Enjoy your time in Vegas. It sounds as though it's everything you hoped it would be. We'll look forward to catching up at some stage again throughout the season.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
No, thank you, Phil. Phil Rothfield there, well-known rugby league identity in Australia, writes for the Daily Telegraph, turns up on television, is often consulted on his views on a wide range of rugby league matters in Vegas at the moment, and by the sounds of it, loving it. There are mixed views about this, right? Taking an Australian competition to the United States of America for opening weekend.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.